Welcome to the Parks, Recreation, Human Services, and Public Safety Committee meeting. It is 5 o'clock, so I am calling the meeting to order. I'm joined here on the dais by Committee Member Lydia Cephedasan and also by Council President Linda Kochmar. And we may have other people joining us, other committee members and council members joining us later on Zoom. But for right now, let's go ahead and get started. Is there any public comment?
No, there's not.
Okay, thank you. All right, with committee business, item A, approval of the March 14, 2023 minutes.
I do have a correction
Okay,
or edit
or edit, okay.
when I find it. But it's human service coordinators. There's an apostrophe S. And it was two of them that presented. That's all. And it was twice.
Okay,
But I don't remember where it is.
so,
I'll find it.
right, do we have a motion to approve it with that correction?
I move to approve the minutes from March 14th, 2023
Oh.
with
Second.
corrections.
Oh. And did I hear Erica?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, Erica seconded, and welcome, Erica. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 It is unanimous. On to item B, fiscal year 2022 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Program Grant Award Acceptance, MOU.
Good evening, council members. My name is Diane Shines. I'm the Civilian Operations Manager for the Police Department, and just a little bit of what I do. I'm responsible for the Property and Evidence Department, Records Unit, Crime Analysis and Prevention, and the custodian of public records for the Police Department. The policy question before you this evening: should the City of Federal Way Police Department enter into an MOU agreement to accept the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant, or JAG funds, for fiscal year 2022. The Federal Way Police Department has been allocated a project award of a little over $38,000 by the JAG program. Acceptance of the grant requires no matching funds, and there will be minimal impact to the city funds by accepting the grant. During the performance period, the Federal Way Police plans to use the grant funds to purchase equipment used by our bomb disposal unit for the removal and disposal of explosives. The purchase involves disruption tools and other protective equipment to disarm and dispose of incendiary devices to ensure the safety of bomb personnel and the public. In addition, grant funds will also be used to upgrade the Avigilon Safe City security camera system by supplementing existing camera and hardware software to address improvements for safety and security of our personnel and the property evidence facility. On the behalf of the Police Department, we are requesting approval for the fiscal year 2022 grant, JAG Grant Award Acceptance, MOU, and funds. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Are there any questions? Yes, Councilmember Cephedasan.
Thank you. And this question may not be for you, but the grant amount is formula-based?
Yes, it is.
Based on what, populations?
Population, yes. And, well, I believe it's crime within the cities that are part of the JAG program, or, so Seattle is the primary agent, and so there are multiple cities that have an allocation. And so we have a particular allocation based on the size of our city.
So there are cities that are not involved in this. Is there, do
Most
you
of the
know?
King County cities are involved. I don't recall any other cities not accepting the grant this year, or the 2022 grant.
Okay. So with that allocation, for instance, I believe Kirkland has a much lower allocation than Federal Way?
I don't know. I just focus on Federal Way.
Okay, so that was why I was asking about
Okay.
that. And then my other question is, some of the things listed that, that the grant could be used is community engagement and what is it, community awareness and with.
There could be, yes, grant funds could be used for other engagement programs or other programs that the police department would identify. So for this particular grant cycle, we identified the need for additional devices for the bomb disposal unit. Usually we just, a lot of times we will buy supplies or supplement supplies. And then also, we've had, we received a request to update the camera security systems for the property and evidence facility, both inside and exterior building. So it's pretty dated.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Thank you. And Council President Coach
Oh,
Mark.
thank you very much, Chair. I just think that we should mention the fact that the project award is $38,387, so people know how much the money we're talking about.
Yes, yes, definitely. Thank you. Thank you. So a fairly significant amount, yeah. So any other questions? All right. Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I was waiting for Erica.
Oh, Lydia, I sent you a text. I asked if you would read,
Oh, okay,
because I didn't get the documents sent to my email,
all right, then,
and I didn't look them up.
okay. Sorry, give me 1 second, I'm in the document. Here it is. Okay. I move to forward the proposed fiscal year 2022 JAG Grant Award Acceptance MOU and funds for the April 18th, 2023 consent agenda for approval.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye. It is unanimous. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you.
We've been joined by Susan.
Oh, also want to let everyone know, Erica, committee member Erica Norton joined us a few minutes ago, and now Deputy Mayor Susan Honda has joined us by Zoom as well. The next item on the agenda, item C, report on the PAC operations. And you do not look like Adam Gressett, so
she's
anyway, so Brian, go ahead.
She's
I do not.
Autumn's online? Okay.
Good
Yes, I'm
evening.
here.
Okay, thank you, Autumn.
Good evening, council members. Appreciate you having me here. My name is Brian Hoffman with Oakview Group, General Manager of the Federal Way Performing Arts and Event Center. I am here this evening to provide an update on our February operations at the PAC. Again, we are a month behind, as we historically have been, in providing this information. So just to kind of recap, in February, actually, I wanted to highlight in 2022, our end of year and overall highlights. We held 174 events at the Performing Arts and Event Center, and we beat operating budget by $285,476. We had a great 2022, and 2023 through the first quarter is looking better than 2022. So we're moving in the right direction. For February, for the month, we had 10 usage days. Some of those events, as provided in the documents, we had National Event Pros, which was a 4-day event which utilized the entire facility, all of the event space and the theater. We had the Auburn Symphony with their performance. As many of you were in attendance, the State of the City address. And then we held the 4 rehearsals for the Federal Way Youth Symphony. And then our monthly chamber luncheon that we hold on the first Wednesday of each month. Some of the things and highlights, our monthly meetings that we hold with our corporate offices, whether they're through booking, our financial reporting, those things. And then a lot of HVAC repairs that we continue to go through at the facility. So we had quite a few of them in February. And then some vandalism throughout the property that we, as many others, unfortunately continue to see with landscaping lights and some planting and vegetation damage to particularly one white birch tree that's over by the arts exhibit. We have our marketing statistics that we provided. Happy to answer any of those questions. And then a breakdown of year over year for February 2022 versus February of 2023. Some of our gross ticket revenue was down in 2023 versus 2022. In 2022, we had 2 sold-out performances. One was a native comedy jam, and the other was a concert. Those 2 events didn't take place in 2023. And then also, our total gross revenue was down by about $10,000. However, I do want to note that in 2022, a little over a year ago, we were a vaccine site for the second time for close to almost 2 weeks. So that's we did generate revenue there. And then, you know, the upcoming events that we listed, we're actually halfway through most of them. We have had Always Patsy. We've had a couple of private banquets, the Chamber Luncheon last week, and then the Federal Way Symphony actually is loading in as we speak. They'll be in the venue 3 times this week, tonight, Friday, and Sunday. We have a private event on Friday afternoon. And then next week, we have Colin Hay from Men at Work. He's about 85% sold. And then we have a Punjabi Versa concert on Saturday. And then the Auburn Symphony will round out the end of the month for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then we have a Celebration of Life event that weekend as well. And then just very briefly, in May, we have 21 events scheduled out of the month of May so far. So continuing to move in the right direction. We have hired Arts for Youth coordinator, that part-time position. They are on board, and we are very close to hopefully finalizing an Arts for Youth event for May, just before the school lets out. And then in early May, we have on May 11th, the Senior Housing Committee, the health fair will take place at the PAC. So, and happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Deputy Mayor Honda.
Hi, thank you. The person that's doing the art program for youth, can you tell us what their salary is? I'm just curious, since we talked so much about that earlier with the grant from King County.
So they are a part-time hourly employee that they are working anywhere from 15 to 20 hours per week, and that hourly rate is $29 per hour.
So is the grant going to completely cover their salary?
The grant will cover a portion of it, as well as any offsets will be covered by the Federal Way Performing Arts Foundation, as that is their mission, is to cover the Arts for Youth program.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No. You know, obviously February was a major dip. March from 2022, March and April, I mean, you said we had a number of bookings. How are they, just, I mean, not in depth, but just, are they looking more comparable or more, or still less than 2022, or how are they?
Our March, off the top of my head, very comparable to 2022. April, comparable, maybe a little bit better. And then May, much better in 2023 versus 2022.
Okay.
And then, to be honest with you, even looking a little further ahead, June, July, and August, a total 180, much better for those months versus 2022.
Okay.
So, you know, we're forecasting to be better than we did last year after the 2 months and some more weddings and concerts in the summer months that we've already confirmed. Robert Cray in July and Toad the Wet Sprocket in July as well, and then 3 weddings between July and August.
Okay. All right. Council President Kochmar.
So do we have any, so Brian, I know that you approved the events that come, but do we have any criteria for events that perform for us? I had some complaints about the drag concert, and I know it was full, but is there any review process that we have for, because I don't know what it was like, or I have no idea what occurred, so.
Yeah, there is somewhat a review process. However, we have to be very, very cautious that we are fiscally responsible for the city so that we don't get sued. You know, the group didn't do anything that was illegal. They provided all of the paperwork, the criteria, the licenses that were needed, the insurance, the deposits, and everything that was needed for that particular event. So they met all of the criteria that we held, very similar to if, you know, the Broadway show Full Monty was to perform or something like that. So, you know, we did have conversations with those user groups that the type of event that it would be, that they were dressed, you know, and had what we call pasties, you know, and those types of things. You know, they were in bathing suits. But I mean, I guess it's no different than if you have a comedian that is very vulgar and cursing quite often as well. So I don't know if I answered your question, but they met all of the criteria that we have to successfully and safely put on an event.
I know that the younger crowd, you know, likes, I have kids, and I don't have my issue really is I just don't know if we have a review over what the events are that come, or who reviews that, if that's just your organization or whether the city has any input in that, or, so I'd like to have a discussion about that sometime.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Right. Any other questions? Right. Thank you very much, Brian. We appreciate
you.
it. All right. And that takes us to the, hold on, my next item on the agenda, and it's, let's see here. Sorry about that, it's not moving very quickly. All right. Item number D, 2023 Diversity Commission Work Plan. Sarah Bridgeford, welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'll be presenting on the 2023 Diversity Commission Work Plan. Brian isn't able to be here, so I'm filling in and will do my best on this. So what you'll see in the work plan is work that's divided into one-time work in 2023, ongoing, and then some annual pieces. Those are also ongoing, so they fall under that same category. Largely, the work will fall into community listening and engagement in a variety of different ways that are represented in this plan. There is a co-creation of an equity tool with staff, community events, a variety of events from MLK and the Community Festival, formerly Flavor of Federal Way, public forums in that same vein of listening, gathering community input, and hopefully facilitating relationship with the city to serve our work. And then I think that's it. So they've added dates. You'll see that on the last page. There's a grid format with the bodies of work, their anticipated timeline. A lot of the work is ongoing, so that's reflected in that grid. And with that, I would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
All right. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Honda, I think that you said you had some questions. Maybe we.
She's still muted.
Yeah, Susan, if you're speaking, you're muted. All right. Any Lydia, any questions from you?
Oh, I'm
right.
sorry. I couldn't find, I'm on my phone. I couldn't find my thingy. Can you hear me?
Wait, we can hear you loud and clear now. Thank you. Go ahead.
So I have a couple questions about the diversity work plan, and one is the budget. You know, there's some things in that work plan that are going to require, I would say, a significant amount of money from the city. So I don't see any financial information attached to it.
So when I look at this, the things that are included, the events are already budgeted for. While we could make an argument that there could be an increased budget for events like MLK and the community festival, I don't think there's anything added that would have a direct budget impact. There would be some staff time on some of these, and I could be missing it. Is there something specific that you see that you feel is an add?
Well, so scholarship, I know this year they tried or wanted to give 4 scholarships out, which was only budgeted for 1. So I'm interested in that. And are they still giving books out to the school district? And if so, is that budgeted for?
So the scholarship, there is a budget for, same with the books, that is part of the existing budget. And that part wouldn't change. I can't speak to the scholarship amounts this year, that I can find out on that. But I
So
would
where would, I'm sorry, Sarah. Where would I see the total budget for this commission?
So that would be part of our budgeting process, but we can provide that. The total budget for Diversity Commission, not just for the events that they're doing and what's reflected here, some of this is also operation and DEI work, is $14,000 per year.
And that I understand this year the MLK event went over budget. So does this budget for next year reflect that, or are they going to keep within budget for the MLK event for next year?
That is the discussion we're going to have in terms of what expectations are for events, and either staying within the budget or having the discussion with city elected officials and regarding a potential budget increase if so desired. There are implications for events when costs have gone up and we have not had an increase for those. But I can't speak to all of the budget figures at this point. We can talk about that in the context of 2024 and keeping that within budget. And it would be my intent to stay within budget in 2023 as well, despite those increased costs.
And then my second question is a DEI coordinator. I believe I saw the job description posted. Do you know where we're at in hiring the person to do this job, and then that person would take over the commission again?
Yes, in the process of interviews are scheduled, I should say. So this week and one next, I believe.
Okay. How many applications did we get? Do you know?
I do not know that offhand, but I can follow up.
Okay. I'd be interested to know how many applications we got. Thank you. Thanks, Sarah.
All right, thank you, Susan. And Lydia, you have a question.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. With the community listening sessions, are there dates, and is anybody invited or welcome? Because it does say, well, they're going to have the events and then present it to council, looks like. That's a order? Like in May, or am I
I
reading
can
it?
follow up on that. So there's been just a transition with the commission, and as it transitions back to community services, there are some of these details that I don't know.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
But I would think, based on the prior commission discussions, so in past years, and I don't know how this has changed, but again, can clarify with the commission. They used to approach them in a couple of different ways. Sometimes they were hosted specifically by the commission. Other times it was going to events that were already occurring or meetings already occurring in the community. And both were possible. So if it was something that was already occurring, it might be open to the extent that that event was open. If it's something that's being hosted by the city and the commission as part of the city, that would look a little bit different.
Thank you.
All right, and Susan, did you have another question? Your hand's raised, or is it just not?
I do have another question.
Okay,
Gosh, now I have to remember what that question was. It'll come back to me. Oh, is the commission fully staffed?
Not at the moment with the vacancy.
So we have one vacant commission. Look,
Oh, are you, fully staffed,
so
the DEI analyst?
commissioners.
Oh,
No,
commissioners.
Yeah.
I believe it is full, yes.
Do you know if there'll be any commissioners retiring at the end of their term?
I do not know at this time.
I shouldn't be asking you because you don't staff it. I'm sorry, Sarah.
Well, we're in a transition, so
Yeah.
there are some things that I should know in this process, and I can certainly follow up.
Okay, I'd be interested to know that too, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Okay, thanks. And I'll quit asking questions, you know.
all right.
Thank you.
I spoke with an Asian gentleman this morning who was interested in the Diversity Commission, which would be interesting because we haven't had anybody from the Asian community on diversity, which I
We have in the past, but I don't know
not
currently.
recent past, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to work on getting it so the Diversity Commission is more diverse. And one of the things that's specifically in the that we have on the books is that it is supposed to represent or the diversity of the city, and I don't think it represents the diversity of the city very well, but it's really us up here that are responsible for that. I mean, it's errors on the part of the council, I believe, that's but we need to in the future work on it, reflecting more the broad diversity of the city. But anyway,
So I'm just curious, what would that look like? Is it having certain seats for certain populations? Because otherwise it's going to be very hard to
yeah.
recruit in that fashion.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, we need the applications in order to be able to appoint
Right.
those people. But it would be great to have a greater representation from the Hispanic community, from the Slavic community, from some of the various communities within the city. Yeah, Polish. Not too many Polish in there, but lots of Slavic, lots of Hispanic, obviously lots of Korean. So anyway, it would be great to, as time goes on, to work on diversifying the Diversity Commission. But that's
It's
really
also including ability, what is it?
and that would
People
be
with
great too.
disability
Yeah,
and whatnot,
that'd be
so.
great as well, I think. So, okay. All right, any other questions for Sarah? Thank you very much then. We appreciate it.
We need to do a committee.
And do we have a motion?
I move to forward the proposed 2023 Diversity Commission Work Plan to the April 18, 2023 consent agenda
Second.
for approval.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. We didn't hear an aye from Erica, but I think there was one there, so anyway.
Aye.
Aye, okay, all right, so it is unanimous. All right, thank you. And that concludes everything that's on the agenda. Are there any other items that should be brought up? Seeing none, our next meeting will be May 9th at 5 p.m. right here. And with that, we adjourn this meeting at 5:29, a 29-minute meeting. I like that. So anyway.
5:30 now.
Oh, hey, we made it at 5:29. So, all right. All right.
58 seconds.